Welcome back to Factorio. My name is Niklaus and we are here with our 2.1, the final factory, and we're also doing the final steps here on NAUVIS before leaving and going to Volcanis. The plan is that we're going to leave this base here. We're going to go to Volcanis, do a little bit there, go to Fulgora, do a little bit there, go to Gleba, do a little bit there. Then after Gleba, I think we'll come back and do some things on NAUVIS, and then go to Aquilo. And then we'll see what happens after that. But that's the plan. So it's not like we're gonna go to we're not gonna go to Volcanis and then come back to NAUVIS immediately. Even though we have foundries that would be greatly improving this, but that's just simply too much time to spend on this. In terms of sort of, I'd rather be progressing and unlocking the electromagnetic plants and all the different stuff here. So what we have in this episode, we have unlocked the access to Volcanis, and we will be ending the episode by setting sails towards Volcanis. So we have a few things we need to do before that. First of all, we need to go here and make a new group. This group should be called... It should be called... Do I even have that? No, I don't have it. Okay, so let's create it. This group will go here, and then we'll have a little arrow. That's also now existing. That one. Now the arrows existing game, so we're going to use those instead of using my Unicode arrows there. And then I will call this first trip only, because there are some things we want to bring for the first trip, and then there's also some things that we want to get for every time, and that will be names. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. There. Oh, okay, so there we go. That's the two ones. So we have one that we go always, every time we go back and forth, we're going to get this thing in, and there are some things we want on the first trip. So this is something I've been sort of working a little bit on to figure out. I'm going to be disabling these to begin with. And we also have the constraint about how much space we have here. So we're actually, since the spaceship is done, we're actually going to ship all of this stuff back again. Back down to NAUVIS, because I don't want it to be... Nope, not you. There. There we go. So we leave this here, and we're going to need all the space available. So what is it, the stuff we need? In the beginning, we don't have anything on NAUVIS to... Or the only green circuits we have is actually going to come from here. And the same with red circuits, we don't have those either. So we get that here. Blue circuits are also going to be a nightmare, to say the least. It's because they are... that's the only thing we don't have there. So I think we'll do 500, even though it comes in batches of 600. It just kind of feels bad. Batches of 300, so it kind of feels better to... No, never mind. We'll do it in 500. I think that's a fine number. There, we're gonna get some low density structure. Let's just go 200. This will be enabling us to launch rockets, and also some of this. We'll also get 200 until we build this ourselves on ours. Then we have other things that we want, and that is we want some modules going in here, and that module, and that module. These are things that we sort of continuously want, and then we also... I don't want quality modules. That's just no reason to do that at all here. And this one as well, 200. So this means that every time the ship goes back, these are the things that it will just top up on. So I always have these available on planet, because we'll gradually be using a little bit more modules, a little bit more of this, a little bit more robots as we scale up. But the more we put in here in the first run, the longer time it takes to fill it up. And then we'll simply go through this and figure out, okay, what are the things we want? Well, we need a lot of these, because it takes a while before we actually start production on Volcanis for these things. So here, and belts, we don't need as much for this. So we'll just take maybe 600, and we'll take... I think we can make do with 100 of these, and... there. So that's the first things we want. Then we're gonna get some power poles. I think we'll try to make do with only 100, because we're gonna go with the new design. We're not actually bringing any of this the big large power poles, because we are going to do a new city block pattern here, which will rely more on substations. So we need more substations and less of these, and no large substations here. We are going to bring these over, just 50. Should be enough to get us going. Some of this, definitely don't need that many. I think just 10 will be enough. And we also need a few of these. Not many of those either. So since we don't need to do like a full rocket stack, we can just do this. And we need some here. I think we'll do 20. Just that's a nice number. And we definitely also need like a that one is the most important thing. And let's also get some beacons in. Let's do 20 beacons. Actually, maybe I don't want the beacons here. I actually want the beacons up there, because we will continuously be needing beacons. So let's do 20 beacons up on that one. And that we're going to do here, robots. We are going to need all the roboports we can get before we start building it ourselves. So we'll be doing like this here, and we'll just take a stack of each. Ha ha ha, you thought I was going to take the green ones. I'm not stupid, don't worry. There we go. You're not fooling anyone. There we go. And then we need some pipe things. And we do need some to begin with, so let's get this. But we also get iron really easily. We definitely don't need 50 of these, so just get 10 just to get us going. And also some pumps as well. Like, all these things are needed in the beginning, so we just need to make sure that we have those, and so we don't sort of have to sit there and handcraft these things. We want to get them in. And let's also get... Yeah, I don't think we need more than 10 of these. And some pump stations here, which is actually funny because we don't have these pump jacks, these offshore pumps created, so we need to actually do a little hack to create those. 20 of that. That's all the liquids. Then let's do some other things like that. This is going to be our main power plant, so we'll need 100 of those for the power plant. We're going to need some solar panels just to get us started. 100 is too much, but 50 is too little, so we just do this here. And yeah, let's just get a stack of lights as well. And then also a stack of this, and a stack of that. And by no means do we need a stack of each of these, so we'll just do 10 of each. And then we can rely on the whole idea that they can combine it. Right, and then we need something else, which you might think is weird that we are getting, but we need to clear at least one of the demolisher worms immediately by going there. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to bring 1,000 of these, and I'm going to get some of that as well. This will allow us to kill one of the worms immediately and then take its territory, because otherwise we just don't have enough space to work on. And the last thing we need is actually a weird thing, but that is some concrete. I don't want to make concrete there to begin with. We need it to make some foundries, and we need the foundries to make concrete. So I'm kind of getting in a loop if I don't do this. So these are the things that I want to get in. And I think I'll just hook it up, and then the base will start working on all of these things. There we go, and there we go. So now that will take a while to get in. I will also be adding this as a configuration, including how to set this one up here as a blueprint, so that you can build the ship, and then you can sort of stamp this down only with the space platform hub, replacing that, and then it imports all these configurations, so you don't have to sort of set it up manually as I just did. Well, back to NAUVIS. That was the first thing. So now while that is working, and it will take a while, then we can start working on uranium. The first thing we want to do with uranium is actually get it inbound, and I have left space here to get it inbound in an easy way. So we're going to start by looking at here. We're going to have an ore unloading station like that here, and it should have a name, but not that name, because that would be awful. It will be an uranium unloading station. There. Good. The thing with this is, first of all, it doesn't really make sense to have all of... Oops, when I press Alt-D and I'm not focused on the game, then it messes up. So here's the thing. That does not make any sense. This one also doesn't make any sense, and I'll upgrade all of this. So why is that one? Yeah. Here. There we go. And this is not making any sense anymore. So get that out, and we'll replace that with here. And that will be replaced there. Good. So this will be inbound, but we also need something else, and that is we are going to need to get this here. Oops. Let me just go closer so it actually builds it. And wrong way. This will be the sulfuric acid going in. And that means we need to get sulfuric acid somewhere up here. We are going to get that on this belt here. Or belt pipe. Here. So. And we'll bring it back. And then figuring out where that's supposed to be. That's here. Wow, that's a lot of rocket launchers in the background. Yeah, and here. There we go. So we got the sulfuric acid. It's not doing very much, so it's going to take a while for this one to update. Now let's actually build the train to support it. Because in order for us to make uranium, we need to bring sulfuric acid out, and then we can bring uranium back in. And then this is why I'm making the train look like this. We are going to get 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to get that one. And yeah, so that's now ready to go out. We can then figure out what we want to do afterwards. But first thing we want to do is actually mine the uranium. So let's head out to a uranium mine once this the train is ready. So we're now down here by the uranium location, and we're going to be doing something different here. Let's see. Well, maybe not that. That's actually fine. Okay, and also upgrading this, and upgrading this so it loads faster, not that it really needs to. And then we have the deposit here. We're going to be setting up this block here. If we look at it, then this kind of tells me that it needs to be, yeah, like that. Here, and oops. If I go one down, it actually fits better. But then I'll do this and this. Great. So that's getting built. And then I basically need a 4-to-3 splitter, because I need to get from these 4 lanes into these 3 lanes here. And that's something we have here. 4-to-3. That one. And I need to aim like this. And obviously this is... Oh. Okay, well, I'm just going to be drawing this myself. So we also need to get out here with liquids. Do I really need this much? Not really. Maybe I just do this and just take a single one. On the other end, well, let's do this one. And you're gonna be getting in here. That needs to go down somehow like this, and then it goes connecting, 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 and then this is connecting. And this one. And then we just need to grab that. And if we power, and when we get this one inbound, then it should work. We need the final there. That's going to be powered. Nothing is working because it's reading the sulfuric acid. And I think this is actually working. We should have someone come in. Yes, they're coming in now. So now we can code this. This will be going to this station. And then what are the conditions that it'll depart? It'll depart when it has not full cargo, but has cargo, but has its item count. Yes, item count. And there's 2,000 in each, so this one will be greater than or equal to 6,000. There. That means the train here is full. Then it's going to go back to here. Then it'll have 2 conditions. One is that it is empty, and also that it has item count. Item count, does that work for liquids as well? Nope, that has to be a fluid count then. Fluid count, there. That will then be that it has at least some of this. And I'm just going to say at least 25,000, because that's kind of half full. Oops, here. That's a lot. That's probably not feasible. There. 25,000. So it has at least 24,000 and an empty inventory. Then you can go. Good. And I think that should be fine. Go in here. This one. Is this set? This should be set to 1. For now, there will only be 1 train. This one is unloading. And we are mining uranium. Great. So now we can actually start researching stuff. So we're going to start by researching this. So the hub will actually start working on these. Then we're going to get this one, because we need to re-roll that as well. Then we can go back and do the Kovarex, because that's also something we need. And then we'll basically take it from there. We're now heading home with the first bit of uranium. 6,000 is returning. And we now need to figure out what we're going to use this for. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about the trains. And because I have chosen deliberately to make the very simplest train system, because it actually doesn't have to be that complicated. Let's talk a little bit about it now, just to get a little bit of distraction. What I've done here is I've simply set up 1 as enable the limit, and I have set up each of these as having 2 trains. This one's 3. Okay, they should be 2. Anyway, we have 3 locations, and we have 8 of these that can go in. So that means this one can take 3. This one can take 3 as well. Yes, and this one up here can also take 2. It actually should be taking 3, so that I'm consistent about it. Yeah, let's be a little bit more consistent about it, and that means we'll take 1 more of these trains, because that's kind of how I balance it. But I'm just gonna say, okay, I'm gonna need the 1 train. I need to be able to have all my trains parked at the loading locations. That's like the hard cap. So, for example, this one is set to 2, and the other copper is also set to 2. That means I need 4 trains here. So I can 2 here and 2 here. I could take 3 in each, but that doesn't really matter. But that's the important part. And as long as I'm mining more than I'm consuming, I don't actually need any kind of balancing, because this one will be having 1 parked, and this one will probably get 1 in immediately as soon as it comes out, because there will be trains that are full and waiting to go. So this is kind of a very, very simple way for me to set up a train. I can make it a lot more advanced if I want to, but I don't actually want to. So it's something. And okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the various things here that we need. We're going to get, and this is kind of weird to do this now because I can't do it. I'm going to do that for the power plant. There. So I'm gonna here. What I'm gonna do now is this one is going to be the uranium ammo, and the uranium ammo comes out. No, it goes out here. Like this. And then it comes in here. Yes. And that will be uranium on the top side and the normal ammo on the bottom side. So, simple build. We can't build it yet, but let's stamp this one down. And just get a sense of how big I want this. Let's do 5 of these. There we go, that's 5. And this one will then be put into a box. Here. That one. And that will be uranium ammo. And how much do I want? No. We'll contain it like this. Here. Uranium ammo. And less than, let's do 1,000. I don't really need that much, but we'll do it this way. Then I'm gonna get it inbound here. That one, and this will go there. I'm not gonna connect it here because I don't want it to flow in just yet. Let's focus on the other stuff that I needed this because I needed to sort of get a sense of how big I needed this one to be. So let's start making, this will be the Kovarex. Maybe I should actually start one a little bit further up and start working on these centrifuges. And they are now being made automatically in the hub. And let's see. I think I want to build it like this. Good, so that's 1. This is the only thing we have there, and that will be like a module, and it'll be coming in here, and then the output will go out there, and we then need to just get some very basic stuff: inbound, outbound, outbound, inbound, and a power pole. We'll just do this. That's so ugly. Isn't this nicer? Doing this and then having that here? I guess so. And he's gonna here. And they're gonna be here. Oh, much nicer. There we go. That's gonna be a module. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that's good. Now I'm not gonna get this any further, but this one needs to go different places, depending on what it is. We will get a tiny bit of the good uranium and then a lot of the junk uranium. The junk uranium goes into some boxes for just storage so it doesn't get stuck. It'll be somewhat like this here. Here. And these will all be flagged as the dark uranium here. And pick it up. And actually then get it out again. Because I am going to need it down here. And this one's also going to go down here. So those are the two things that we need to move forward. And that needs to go into a Kovarex build. Kovarex builds are always fun to do, isn't it? Let's see, we're missing 2 of these. So we can't even start designing the Kovarex. But I can start working on this one. Because that's, well, it should be easy to do. And where do I want to get it? Inbound. I guess we can get it there. This will ensure that they are balanced on the side by side, and it goes in here. And this will now be a 3-to-1 splitter. You'd think that I can could do these by now, but nope. That's actually funny. I can get it all the way there, and it'll still work. Here, and this one, and this one. How do I? There. There you go. Seems even more silly to do it this way now. So somehow that's a 3-to-1 balancer, and it's just kind of weird. So we'll deal with it. That goes in. That gets up here. It gets done. Kovarex is working. And then by the end of it, I don't want to do anything additionally here in terms of sort of productivity, speed modules. This is just chugging along. So let's do the Kovarex now. This is always a fun thing to design. We've designed it a million times, but let's do it 1,000,001. So basically we need to make sure that it gets it gets something inbound. That's going to be here. Then, let's see. I am going to lead this one out and get you like this. Yes. So that's the first little teeny tiny step. Then I need to go you in here for the ammo eventually. And some of it goes in there. So that's fine. Then I need to get something in here, which will be super simple. It just grabs it. And I'm going to make that here so that it matches that one. I kind of regret this one not matching this line here. But that is what it is. Okay. And then I need to bring it out. And I'm just going to bring it out here and then put it in. So whatever this one puts out, it'll actually get it back in again. Because whenever it gets all the way to the end, then, yeah. There. And then it will produce 42 of these. And then it'll just kind of go back here and pick them up. The output speed is also the input speed. So it'll just kind of cycle here until it has like an excess, and then the excess will go on. So this excess now has to be filtered. Let's do something like this, and that will be filtering like that. Here. So the two things we need to do is this needs to go into a box where it's available for random pickups, right? So that will be out here and here. This will be for the good uranium. This will be eventually our storage. It's not exactly going to happen anytime soon, but it will happen. Then the other things will just go back on here. Everything will be on the outside. And that'll be on the outside. That means the let me show you that. There. It comes out and it will actually cut off the inbound here, which means that the outbound here will only be an overflow after this is saturated once. So that is also okay. That means this is actually one of the simplest ways that I've come up with that I can do this. What I also want to do then is I want to be able to take this out because that has to go and become... Yeah, I should use a blue one, but I do want all the productivity in here. So I can do this, I guess. No. That will be making the uranium fuel, and then it's super important to get maximum productivity on this. This will be going into a box. We're going to constrain this. That box will, I don't know, technically be one of these. And this will then be the ammo. This will be requesting 10 of this. And like this. Okay, and how much do I want? Right now, I only want 10. I want nothing more because I just need it for making my uranium backpacks. Nothing more than that. This one is requesting it. Obviously not getting it. Oh, the train has left. But it's not left yet. It is... Oh, yeah, okay. So good thing we did this. Then it has item count. There. And that will be item count. This equal to 0. And then remove that. So I thought cargo was not including fluid, but it is. So we do it this way instead. Great. Probably should set up the other one as well so we get 2 of those going. See, there's a lot of attacks coming in right... No, that's not actually right here. But if that's here, then we can always just plop in the distances between a few laser turrets, and then that should be not a problem at all. Anyway, back to this one, and I'm pretty happy about it, and I can actually just perpetuate it downwards here. And obviously it's gonna take a while before this is all fully operational, because yeah, that's gonna take a time. This needs to absorb the first 40, and then that will start circulating, and then when it has an excess of 40, I'll put them over here. So that's that's a long time coming, and I might as well do this one. And then that will be switched over to uranium ammo when that is. So that's our uranium block. That's pretty good. Let's check in on our spaceship. What are we doing here? We're definitely still getting things inbound. We are... Yeah. So this is one rocket. This is 6 rockets. This is 1 rocket, or technically half. This is 2 rockets. This is 1 rocket. And this is 1 rocket, but we're not actually crafting on the planet. This is still another 6 rockets, and this one is 20 rockets. So we still need a few more rockets to go. That's fine. I'm going to do something in the meantime, and that is we don't have those water pumps. So let's add a little thing here, a little beautiful hack like we did for the gates. We are going to do another little hack over here. Something we could also have done earlier. And that will be here and here. And that will be the pump. And that should get the 2 things we need. Perfect. And that goes out into a box. Of that. That will now be limited. Probably should be limited to something else. Let me not do that, but simply just limit it to 1 box. There we go. Done. Very simple little thing to put in here, and that feels like the easiest place to make it. We're still working on getting stuff more to the space platform, but in the meantime, I am going to... And we're also waiting for the Kovarex to actually build, but I will want to build one of these. Why? Oh, right. We also need an iron inbound here. That's like the most trivial of things, but okay. It still needs to be done. And that's going to be here. And that's the very last thing. So once that's done, then we are going to get one of these. And we just need one of them because then we get 10 uranium fuel cells. That's nice. And we are going to need 2 times 8 for the uranium power backpack, which is what we want. We're going to do something silly or important or gambly or whatever, because there is a chance that we can actually get something good here. So I want to build this, but if I could sort of roll that... hold on, that's not actually... I want to go with this one. If I could roll this as legendary. That would be all, nah, better quality. I mean, uncommon would be great. So I'm going to take the best quality modules I have, and that gives us a total of 11.6% chance of this getting better. So let's put things in here. And hope that it gets there. I'm not going to be safe scumming or anything like that. So I think you can just kind of reload the game and reroll this chance if you want to. But we're just going to accept that it's going to be an 11% chance. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. So here it is. That would be lovely if we just got it as rare, this one. But then you'd be shouting that I'm cheating. But let's see. And no. All right. Well, whatever. It was worth a shot. And then we are going to go with the backpack. There. And then we're basically going to do all of it like this because we'll take the chance of rolling it as a little bit high percent. No, not quite. What are we missing? We're missing some processing units and we're missing some load-in structures. There. Now we're getting the other portable fission reactor. So those would be the two things that we really want. And then we also need some roboports. And no, that didn't spawn either. Well, it's worth a shot. So here we're now going to get... What about these? Can we also do that? I suppose we can. And let's see. We also need that one. Can we get that? Oh, no, we're missing some batteries. They are down here. Let's take that. I want to build one at a time. And then we can take all of the other things and just get it out. And replace the old one with the new. There we go, we got better. And no. Another one? Yes. And then we start filling up with these two up here. Then we're gonna get the legs. Then we're gonna get these down here. Also not spawning that one. Let's get the legs. We seem really unlucky with this. There, that's one. Another one. And get this in. Oops, not up here. These are gonna go here, and I can get 4 legs, I think. And then what am I gonna get here? I'm gonna get like 1, and then I don't know. Maybe we'll get 5 legs, and then these 4 will be better batteries, and then something else down it. That one, and we're gonna still get a little bit more of this, and yeah. Okay, so that's not so much, not so many goodies we got here. Oh, look at that. There were some beta, the first non-common thing we got. There. How much better are they? 39 movement speed instead of 30% movement speed. That's, I mean, it's fine. We'll take it. And then we need something down here. Good. And this is the final thing we want to build in our little, here. And we put these 3 in. None of these spawned as any higher quality. It's pretty good. This is how I want it, and I think it'll actually be enough with these 3 here. I think so. Maybe not for sort of flying around always, but hey, it's pretty neat. And what we're then missing is here. This is only 25. It needs to be 40 before it actually starts perpetuating and getting more of this for ourselves. And we're going to be checking up on. I also have a few of these in inventory, so let's pump those out so that they actually contribute. Let's have a look up here and just get a sense. This one is working, but it's only like the first 100 that's inbound. This one isn't getting anything, obviously. And this one is pretty much done. So what we're missing is... Oh, we don't have any of these. Weird. We should have those, right? Yeah. So let's make sure we get some assemblers. Okay, so there's like 10 rockets left. Not so bad. Let's check back in with our Kovarex process. We have here the last one we need, and it's coming in. And lo and behold, it now completes. So we're going to be monitoring what happened. Oh, just like that, we get an extra one. Okay. So rare, and then we get an extra one. But what happens now, I've put this beacon in, so this doesn't take 60 seconds to process, but takes a little bit less. We can also check back in here. There's some ammo coming in, and that is exactly the last bit of ammo that we need. Everything is now good up here, so that actually completed at exactly the same time. We're just going to be monitoring this. Actually, we got an extra one in here. Nice. But we want this one to go through, and then it will be spitting out 41 of these out here. So it spits out 41. And it has a little progress bar on that one. And you can see that the speed that it exits here is also the speed that it grabs it from. And that means it now has +3. And then it can complete this many times until it gets up to 40. Then I manually have to take the 40 from here and put them into the next one so I can have these operate. Otherwise, they have to go up to 80 something before they stop inserting here. There has to be a little more than double the production to stop it from importing. So it's working. And I would need to sort of get it manually in here. Now we're going to get rid of everything in inventory. Like this. Because that's kind of how it works with... these can somehow not get down here. Can't just click them and disappear them. There we go. And here. There we go. And that one as well. We now have all of this out here, and then I need to find somewhere where we can launch. It says I can't do that. There we go. Travel to space platform. Remember to travel to the right space platform. To the Volcanis. Woohoo! We're heading to Volcanis now. Or, well, yes, we are heading to Volcanis. First, we're heading to our little spaceship, which is full of goodies that we're going to be using to set up and claim the first area on Volcanis. Let's set up this here, still on pause thrust. So what are we going to do? We're going to be saying first there's going to be a circuit condition here. That will be greater than 0. That means it's 1. That means it's good. Then we have to be saying that all requests are satisfied. That's the best case scenario. The second case scenario that is also valid to let us depart from here is if you're ready to depart and you've waited a certain amount of time. Let's call that 150, so that's 2.5 minutes. 180, that's 3 minutes. If we sit in orbit for 3 minutes, then that should be fine. And we'll add the same here. Here, circuit condition, greater than, and greater than. And we do a all requests satisfied, that will be here. And we'll do a time passed, that will be 180 there. And then we switch that. That will be our setup. And as we now depart, we are ready to depart. We are going to be saying head here. And as soon as we go, we've got the automatic autosave because it's the first time. I'm going to disable the first trip only because this is no longer the first trip only. So we're going to get here, and we are now safely on our way with our tiny little ship. Very cheap ship. It's actually working really well for what we want in the beginning. It's a cheap ship, and it does have some cargo capacity and flies at a decent speed. Well, flies at some kind of speed at least. That is ridiculous as though. Wonder what we did wrong here. Wonder what we did wrong. Oops. Ah, I see it. That one is actually... It should be here. Because this was getting the V value in. This was not getting the V value in. So now it goes up to 200. And then it sort of fluctuates around here. So it slows down, and then it gets a little boost. And it now hovers pretty well around 200, which is where we want to get it. So that was just an incorrect place here. And of course that will be updated in the blueprint, as you can expect. And we are now heading there. Oh, I thought it was like a fundamental thing wrong, but it's more often than not just kind of a trivial thing here. We're moving forward, and we are about to hit, and then we are going to be sit in orbit over Volcanis with our little spaceship. We can see here that it is no longer green. The reason why it's not green is because the amount of ammo is no longer green. This one should be a 0. Every time there's a shooting, then it's like kind of stutters here. So we'll be sitting over Volcanis. And what we'll then see as well is that even over Volcanis, when there's a little bit of things coming in here as well, we will still be able to accumulate more new ammo than we're consuming. And if not, then that's because we just need more of the shooting speed here. Cool. So we're ready to drop down to Volcanis. We have it beautifully here, and that's what we're going to do in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Remember the blueprints we've designed in this episode. The station here, the uranium block, which I will trim some of the speed modules out of it, and also... Oh, those science. And also, yeah, the uranium stuff, and here, those will be part of the blueprint, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care, and as always, stay effective.